Hello, and welcome to this edition of the ChannelVision Podcast. I'm Tony Jones, managing editor of ChannelVision Magazine. Today I'm speaking with Jim Gurol, CEO and co-founder of Netverge. Hi, Jim. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Tony. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. Happy New Year to you. You officially launched Netverge last November during our CVX Expo. How did the platform come about, and what are the conditions in the marketplace that make it ripe for your launch?
Sure. I can say that the platform came about because of frustrations in our business. Just the amount of noise from alerts, the man hours, and just the labor intensive nature of running an MSP. And I know this because I run my own MSP, California Telecom. And, when AI came about, the stars kind of aligned. My co-founder, Hamid Zolgadri, who has a PhD in machine learning, was already well positioned to utilize AI and build this platform. But I didn't want to keep it for myself. We wanted to share this with other MSPs who struggle with the same issues.
Right, right. You're set to launch a new ticketing platform during the first quarter this year. How does it address the pain points MSPs and IT teams have in maintaining network uptime, performance, and security, particularly as environments increase in complexity?
Yeah, so our ticketing platform is actually officially out. We are utilizing it today, and it's really amazing. As one of our engineers kind of put it, it gamifies the work. Um, you can imagine that the conversations look like a chat app. So, usually ticketing systems are very difficult to read HTML code or going back and forth with images. The way our ticketing looks like I said, it's got those like chat bubbles, and you can have these conversations with clients that are also being associated with our knowledge. The knowledge graph has all these pieces that are in our systems like assets and services, and so we combine this into a collaborative session with the customer, and it's really clean.
The Netverge approach to monitoring is a cohesive one that's designed to unify monitoring, ticketing, and automation. And central to this is what you call a quote unified client knowledge path. Explain what you mean by that and why it's the foundation for your solution.
Yeah, so in our platform, we built the knowledge graph into the platform. So there's no need to jump from one platform to another. All the client information, locations, service, assets, IP information are all accessible to the AI and that knowledge. So we have monitoring agents that correlate the knowledge graph items, and this reduces the time to scramble and put pieces together. So we utilize our own internal knowledge to help reduce that time to find that information. It's all right there in a unified platform.
That's excellent. As we've talked about a little bit already, there's a strong AI component to this. How is NetVerge leveraging AI agents in its monitoring, and how does that wind up impacting the burden on human technicians?
Yeah, we have an AI workflow called Artemis. And so, Jensen Huang, which is the NVIDIA CEO, said the IT department of every company is going to be the HR department of AI agents in the future. And Artemis does that. So what it does is it cleans and classifies tickets automatically, associates tickets with the correct client and site, their service, their assets, their events. It determines the severity, urgency, and escalation needs, and then it runs diagnostics and collects telemetry data. It basically does what we call the homework, which is, when an issue comes in, we do like all these steps to see where the problem is. Well, Artemis will do that. And so it's also communicating with clients, and it does it clearly and proactively utilizing AI functions like LLM. And it closes or defers issues when conditions resolve. Sometimes issues pop up and then they resolve themselves. It could be, somebody rebooted a router, it could be a power event or a network maintenance. When these alerts come in because of those, issues, and then they resolve themselves. There's no need to go crazy and troubleshoot and diagnose that issue further. It's already self-resolved. So let it close the ticket and move on. So and then lastly, it hands the engineers a complete contextual summary ready to act. We call this the silver platter, which means that if there's any diagnostic data or anything that that the technicians need to know, it serves them up on the silver platter, so that way the engineers can act immediately. They don't need to like put all these pieces together.
Right, right. So with Netverge's platform, then what's the goal for human involvement with the oversight and analysis and resolution? Is it primarily to increase efficiency and then preserve the human intervention for the most critical of the incidents?
So it's really to reduce tedious work and set up the engineers for success. I mean, humans are always going to be needed. We need to continue to build and design workflows that work for our business. So what we have is like our senior engineers will slowly need to pivot from handling escalations and managing AI. So they're going to be building SOPs and intelligent workflows that the junior engineers can utilize. So the key here is the tasks that took long hours, they take minutes now. Critical escalated issues get immediate attention. So, all this like triage and noise that come in, our senior engineers will work on workflows using AI to solve those problems. And so the next time a noisy alert comes in, it's using that AI workflow. And so that really reduces the man hours and if there is a critical issue, Tony, and it continues to have like it's chronic or it needs human intervention, that's when our engineers are set up for success. Everything is laid out right in front of them. All the diagnostic data, the correlations, the associations are all done in advance. So by the time it hits a human, they will have everything they need to be successful.
Very interesting. And so, how important then is the AI-driven triage going forward? Particularly, its ability to learn and improve over time.
Yeah, again, the AI triage is very important in reducing mundane tasks, the day-to-day, um, you know, it, tickets that come in that are alerts and noisy. And also it helps with human error. Sometimes I get frustrated because I see sometimes, I mean, this is before we had Netverge, but a ticket would come in and it wouldn't get touched for hours and it's critical. You know what I mean? It wasn't getting triaged. It wasn't getting, associated with the proper client. It wasn't, associated with the service. So, that's like the very basic first step that needs to happen is triage it. And so, because people get busy and we're doing projects and stuff like that, that work that didn't get done, just sat there. So that I think the AI triage is very important. And the system will learn and improve by means of ticket history, adding to the knowledge graph. And then also it's going to measure sentiment. Did it do a good job? Yes, add it to the good pile. If it didn't do a good job, add it to the don't do this pile. You know what I mean? So that's how it learns and gets better over time.
Very interesting. It's fascinating how things are moving at this rate. You guys have another offering, Verge Point. Explain what these units do and how they elevate network monitoring that's different from traditional approaches.
Right. So Verge Point is a device that we created. It's basically running on a small device running on Raspberry Pi with a Linux operating system. And what it does is instead of monitoring from the outside, which most monitoring systems do, they're monitoring from, the cloud in. So it's got to pass through a firewall or it only gets to the edge and that's it. So what VergePoint do is you put this inside your network and it measures from outside, I mean, from inside out. So it also can measure from inside to inside And also, we still have our legacy monitoring, or not legacy, but the traditional monitoring, which is outside monitoring. And we're also monitoring outside. So we call this four-way monitoring. So really, when there's an outage, when there's a problem, we can tell exactly where the problem resides. Is it inside? Is it going from, a PC to a switch? Is it from a switch to a firewall? Is it firewall to the cloud? Is it a cloud outage? Like when Cloudflare had their issues, Netverge knew that it was a cloud-based problem and not a customer problem. Even though customers were calling in, opening up tickets with us, we knew the problem was outside. It wasn't inside their network. But to the customer, the end user, they don't know that. They don't know that there's a Cloudflare outage. So with VergePoint, because we had that outside monitoring, we're able to detect the problem and confidently tell our clients that this is, an outside issue and that everybody's impacted.
Good stuff there. So, Jim, tell us about your partner program and what should MSPs expect when they join?
Yeah, so we're currently recruiting partners for NetVerge. Our goal is to help businesses reduce overhead costs by allowing them to scale instead of being stuck or having a large, sales sink the ship. And what I mean by that is it happened to me. We were, doing large deals. We'd land the deal, and then, our team would be busy, deploying, installing, and doing all that thing. And we would be swamped because we'd have this big sale and all the support would happen afterwards. And, we wouldn't be able to scale because we were in this roller coaster ride of, have a big win and then have to support it, have a big win and then have to support it. So now this kind of gives that MSP that ability to scale. So we're looking for MSP partners that we can work with, and that, we can help their efficiency.
All right. And so, what else can we expect from NetVerge in 2026?
Right now, we are building agents. So the agentic nature of NetVerge is utilizing agents to do the work, to collect data, and to take action. So we're actually right now in the process of building all kinds of agents, connecting via API to different vendors, Fortinet, Meraki, just being able to connect, collect telemetry data, and report it back into our platform. So that way the engineers can do, troubleshooting homework utilizing AI instead of utilizing human manpower. So, we have what's called agent swarms and fully autonomous agents. So when an alert comes in and it's, detecting a problem on a Fortinet firewall, for example, or let's say it's a Cisco Meraki switch or something like that, it automatically connect to that platform, pull all the troubleshooting data, do all the diagnostics, and then return that information back to the client or to the engineer. And so that's all coming out in 2026 as we build it more and more agents.
Going to be fascinating to see how things go for you guys. We wish you a lot of luck. Where can folks go for more information?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Our website is netverge.com. So you can reach us there. We can also reach me on LinkedIn, linkedin.com /in/J Gurol. It's my first initial and last name. Or you can just reach me at jim@netverge.com via email. And I'm happy to connect.
Really good stuff, Jim. Thank you again for joining us today.
I appreciate you, Tony. Thank you.
And thank you to our audience for listening. We'll catch you next time on the Channel Vision Podcast.